Hello everyone. I remained silent on the Kenyu situation for multiple reasons. The first being that I was a little bit late on my gift for Christmas for my family. But most importantly, I wanted to gather more information on why Wargaming did that and if really we would see consequences within the game. And I've seen a lot of YouTubers kind of complaining that Wargaming totally ruined Tier 3, which is temporarily true, but there are a lot of things that we need to discuss that will put you in a good mood, especially if you are a Tier 3 lover. We will divide the topic of this video in 3 different points. Number 1, we will do a quick summary of the Kenyu and why it's a problem that Wargaming ended it totally for free to multiple players. Second, we are going to dive into the why Wargaming did that. And to finish off, we're going to ask ourselves about the consequences of having such a tank at Tier 3 on both old players and new players. Let's go. So the first thing that we need to discuss about is what is the Kenyu and why is it problematic for Wargaming to handle a Tier 3 to its community. Basically, if you've been around for a very long time, you know that the Kenyu was at first implemented by Wargaming nearly at the beginning of the game. And this Japanese Tier 3 light tank has something a little bit special for itself because it has the DPM of your average Tier 7 tank, but at Tier 3. And the problem is that when you're facing tanks that have 500 DPM, the Kenyu has 2000, which means that it's pretty much the gold mode of Tier 3. And now that the matchmaking is filled with Kenyus, you clearly understand that the only people that can sustain on it are the people playing it. Not to mention that this tank also features more than 50 km per hour of mobility and a crazy gun depression. So basically something extremely versatile with no armor. And you gotta keep in mind that the funniest thing about this tank is that at first, when Wargaming implemented it, it was a bug that it had such a high DPM. Unfortunately, Wargaming realized that after already selling the tank, and back in the days at the time when they released the tank and people already started buying it, they could not come back on their decision or any statistics of the tank, because once the tank is sold, the contract between Wargaming and the client that paid for the tank is already settled. Therefore, they could have been sued if they decided all of a sudden to change the statistics of the tank. And at the same time, if they did, they would have to get the money back to everyone buying it. Now, of course, at that time, it was not necessarily a problem because there was not many Kenyus around, simply because it was sold only one time for €5 or $5.99 if I'm not mistaken. And the number of people that bought it is extremely limited because even nowadays, if Wargaming released a brand new Tier 3, except influencers and maybe a couple of collectors, who would really buy a Tier 3? It doesn't have the same impact as a Tier 10. And this is why Wargaming head office decided that they would not change the tank, keep it in the game like that, call it a mistake and not sell it again. Then why did they give 20,000 of them totally for free 2 days ago? Even if we don't clearly know Wargaming's intent, there are a couple of things that we can assume coming from them. First, the hype around the Christmas stream. Maybe you were here when the stream was running, but they had more than 40,000 people watching it. It's just insane when you think about it, because there is literally not even 40,000 players on average in World of Tanks Blitz, which means that they really hyped everyone for this stream. They decided, you know, on their Discord server to tell people to join the stream, to tell people that they're gonna have exciting gifts, etc, etc. And that was a really good strategy. I mean, from a marketing point of view, it's a 10 out of 10 from Wargaming. Second thing, the number of tanks given away was limited to 20,000. So there are 20,000 Kenyus running around the game right now, and they possibly can ruin your mood if you encounter them. But the true reason, in my opinion, for which Wargaming gave away the Kenyu is that they already announced, not on the European stream but on the Russian one, that they were about to nerf the tank. And talking about nerf, we need to talk about the difference between collector tanks and premium tanks. In World of Tanks Blitz, the policy, and I mean from a low perspective, the policy tells them that they can't change a premium tank. Basically, when you buy a premium, it's supposed to be unchangeable. But they do have the possibility of switching from a premium to a collector tank. What I mean by that is that right now the Kenyu is a premium, and if they did an update of the game while not changing the statistics but switching the status of the Kenyu from premium to collector, in the upcoming update, so 2 updates would take, in the second update they would have the right to change the statistics of the Kenyu because now it's no longer a premium, but rather a collector tank. And this is exactly what Wargaming is about to do, because of course you clearly understand that Wargaming is not here to destroy their own game. Having Kenyu Otsus totally broken running around at tier 3 is not something that is good either for bad players, for new players, for good players, for anyone. So how long would it take? That's a good question. I feel like, as I mentioned, they need first to switch the status of the Kenyu Otsu to premium, to collector. So it's gonna take at least one update for that. And then another update to switch the statistics of the Kenyu Otsu to make it balance. Or maybe change its tier, up tier it, I don't know. So in total 2 updates, which means 2 months. So you have 2 months of having fun with the Kenyu Otsu before it becomes your average tier 3 premium. That being said, I would like to dive into the consequences of handling such a tank to pretty much everyone. Let's divide the analysis into 2 different points. We're gonna see the perspective from the good players, or at least the experienced player, people that already play quite a lot of tier 10s, etc. And from the perspective of new players. Let's first start with the OGs, the old players. Let's be honest, and me the first, when I received my Kenyu Otsu, I had quite a lot of fun with it within 1 day. Like basically, I played maybe the whole day actually playing the Kenyu Otsu, but after a while, it gets boring, because usually when you start playing tier 10 matches, it's much more interesting than just still clubbing at tier 3. Which means that yes, I do have a Kenyu Otsu in my garage, but I'm gonna grow bored of it pretty quickly. And I feel like it's the exact same for everyone, because when you dive into the matchmaking at tier 3, the day of the release of the Kenyu Otsu, the matchmaking was filled with Kenyu Otsus. Literally 7 Kenyu Otsus against 7 Kenyu Otsus. 3 or 5 days after, you see that there are only 3 Kenyu Otsus usually in a matchmaking against 3 Kenyu Otsus. Which means that in probably 2 weeks, not a single player will play the Kenyu Otsu regularly, or at least maybe you're gonna see 1 or 2 Kenyu Otsus per game, which is not something that would totally break the matchmaking as much as getting 7 of those in each team. So from the perspective of good players and old players, we kind of don't care about this given tier 3 collector to our accounts, because obviously it's a nice gesture for Wargaming because we're having fun with it, but it's not something that we're gonna play all day long. It's not a Kampfpanzer 50 ton, it's not an AMX M454, it's not a Waffenträger auf E100. That being said, let's dive into the new players. Are the new players really gonna be impacted by this? In my opinion, no. For 3 reasons. The first is the preferential matchmaking. You may or may not know that, but when you're a new player into the game, you get yourself into a match with people that have less than 5,000 battles. This way, it allows you to start progressively to learn about the game and not getting totally destroyed at the very beginning by an experienced player with more than 100,000 battles that just decided to ruin the mood at tier 3. What does it imply? The vast majority of new players, at least the new players that started pretty early into World of Tanks Blitz, they are probably not even aware that there is a Blitz stream, and usually they kind of don't care. I mean, just take yourself back when you started World of Tanks Blitz. If they told you there were gonna be a stream, would you really watch it? Personally, no. And this is what makes me believe that the vast majority of new players didn't get their hands on the Kenyu Otsu, which means that if they have a preferential matchmaking in which they are all together, not a single one of them is gonna have a Kenyu Otsu. Yes, there is still a problem, rerolls and people that restarted their account in order to get better statistics, and maybe those guys managed to get themselves a Kenyu Otsu. But I don't think that a guy that is re-rolling for his statistics and statistics only is gonna play a tier 3 that is going to destroy his statistics. That's the first point. Now the second is how the grind works in World of Tanks Blitz. You already know that, but in World of Tanks Blitz, nowadays especially, you can climb to tier 10 extremely fast. I want to remind you that Wargaming is just feeding you with multiply 5 certificates all day long, which means that even if a new player is playing his tier 3 against many Kenyu Otsus, this guy is gonna get into tier 4 in maybe, what, 3-4 battles maximum, because of how much experience you're making right now with all those certificates. And just like that, even if people can grow bored of tier 3 because of the Kenyu Otsus, as a new player, you're not gonna stay here that long. It's gonna, yeah, okay, you're gonna have 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes of pain, and after, it's just over. Which leads to another problem, the fact that nowadays in tier 10, matchmaking is terrible because people get there way too soon, but that's not the subject of this video. And now the third part of the video, which is in my opinion the most interesting, the symbolism behind this giveaway. For years, we have been criticizing Wargaming for not granting their players cool rewards. We're not talking about handling all the new broken premiums for free, but at least give us something that is nice that we can play and that is enjoyable to play. And it's the first time ever that Wargaming is giving away for no temporary time, because it happened with the T49A for the OGs out there. But it's the first time they are giving away for free a hugely broken tank. And I feel like not only is it an experience for them, because they did that obviously because they wanted the players to be happy about the game and to celebrate Christmas with us, but at the same time I feel like it's a big experiment to see what would happen if they released a totally broken tank at a much higher tier. For example, tier 10. Yes, Waffentrager? I'm looking at you. I might be wrong though, it's purely speculation right now, but that's how I feel about this giveaway. Now, to finish this video, I would like to thank Wargaming for this. Honestly, I'm amazed that they did that. I'm really amazed because I knew the stream was on, and personally, I did not watch it because I was definitely expecting that when they were saying, yeah, you're gonna have an awesome reward, that they were straight up lying, because I'm used to Wargaming kind of stabbing us in the back for years. And it seems like nowadays the teams, I mean Wargaming's head office, Wargaming team, is changing, and for the best, because when you dive into what we had this year, we had a couple of nice things that we can grab for free. We also had the Kenyu, and even if they didn't give anything for the whole year and just allowed us to get the Kenyu at the end, it's already great. But yeah, you have the advent calendar, you can get the light 432. During the year, you had multiple occasions to get your hands on multiple tanks. You could get the Raumpanzer M48 Pathan. You could get your hands on the... I forgot the name of that French tank. But anyway, you could get your hands on a lot of tanks. And to be fair with you, even if yes, those are not necessarily the best tanks, if you are a free-to-play player, you do have the possibility of grinding your credits without spending a cent, and therefore enjoying the game as much as us pay-to-win players. Of course, it doesn't mean that you're not gonna get broken tanks or anything, or even get your hands on them, but hey, free premium, what are you upset about? So anyway, I just wanted to make that video because, I don't know, I just wanted to share my opinion on this current situation and see if people in the comments agree or not with me. That's why I didn't dive into the hype train straight away when I saw that they released the Kenyu. I was not like, oh, I need to make a video to make views. No, I just wanted to first take the time to analyze it, and now that it's done, release the video. So if you enjoyed, feel free to subscribe, like, and share. Personally, I'm gonna see you soon for a new video, and waiting for that to happen. Take care. Bye.
Hey, you. Yes, you. Like that video? Why not going for another one? I have plenty of videos you can choose from. All you have to do is hop on this truck. Come, don't be afraid. It's only one video.